I'm joined here today by the one and only Randa Markos, coming off the win over Ashley Yoder at UFC Singapore a few weeks ago. Thanks so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and it looks like you're joining us from a hair salon right now. Where are you currently?
No, this is my basement. This is my it's like a glam room that I it's my space.
Okay, of course, yeah, sort of the woman equivalent of a man cave, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how was it building that? I mean, did it take a while? Is that something that you kind of just decided to do one day?
We had extra space in our house, and my husband was saying we should use it as storage, and I'm like, no, this is
Yeah,
perfect for my area. We had extra mirrors, so we cut up the mirrors and put them all along the wall. So it's kind of going for the Sephora look.
yeah.
Because I'm pretty girly for like a girl in the sport. I guess I'm pretty girly, but yeah, it didn't take too long to do. It was just like um, I didn't really do the tiling or anything. My husband
Yeah,
did all the hard work. Didn't take too much for me to do.
yeah. There we go. As long as the end result is good, that's the best thing.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, and before we get into this fight with Ashley Yoder, I believe I talked to you back in June, and last time we had a special guest join us. I believe it was your puppy. I wanted to get an update on that and sort of know how she's doing.
She's good, very hyper. I put her away. I gave her a bunch of treats, put her away. She's still hyper, but not as much as she was when we last talked. She was pretty new. She's about 8 months now, so it's a lot better.
All the annoying puppy stuff, like the housebreaking, the chewing, and stuff like that, is that over with, or do you still have some stuff you have to deal with?
Well, she's a Shih Tzu, and I guess Shih Tzus, it takes a while for them to go to learn how to go to the washroom outside. So that's still an issue, but everything else is good. She's so lovable. She's attached to me everywhere I go. She comes, and she wants to be with me all the time. But yeah, it's just like finding poop and pee everywhere.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just it's really really, but but that's like the only issue. It is a big issue, but it's the only issue.
for sure. Let's talk about this fight with Ashley Yoder that just went by. Obviously, it was a good performance. It was in Singapore. Was this your first time going to Singapore?
Yeah, it was my first time in Singapore. We stayed an extra few days, just so I can enjoy it. You know, we did fly like 22 hours to get there, so I wanted to stay a bit and check it out. It was beautiful, very beautiful city. It was awesome to be there, and it was awesome to have that experience to actually go somewhere like that. It's nice.
And so, how does it work with the UFC when you stay a couple extra days? I mean, do you have to ask them to book you a couple extra days? Is it kind of up to you? I mean, how does that kind of work?
Well, they book you there and back, so you just let them know when you want to come back, and they book your flight back. So it's pretty good. It's pretty cool that they can do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. It does sound pretty good. What are some things you did out there? I assume you got to enjoy the food, maybe visited a few things. What are some things you did with your extra days?
We went to the Universal Studios. We got to go to the beach. It was really, really cool. We got to ride those like skyline thingies and travel to the beach. That was really nice to see. It was really nice to see the entire city and just like walking down the streets. Like kind of got lost a bit and got to walk around the streets and just seeing like the regular like civilians what they do there. It was really, really a cool experience. It's very like Americanized over there. Everybody spoke English, which is very different for me. Like I thought I was going to like a different country, but they're very,
Yeah.
very Americanized. Everybody, yeah, everybody speaks English. Like I went to Brazil and Mexico, and it was hard to find people who spoke English. And there it was like a very touristy place too. So I really recommend people go there. It's really nice.
And so you mentioned a 22-hour flight. How did that sort of affect you? I mean, I assume going, of course, affected you more. How did it affect sort of the weight cut and stuff like that, if it affected you at all?
It didn't really affect me that badly. I mean, just sitting on the plane for that long, that really sucked. But other than that, like once we got to the hotel, we left on Saturday, or sorry, we left on Sunday in the afternoon. We ended up there Monday, like at 11 p.m. Like basically we were there on Tuesday, and so right when we got there, we were exhausted. We didn't sleep on the plane or anything, and so we got there, we just crashed. And it did take a while to get used to because like you'd crash and then you wake up at 3 because really that's like 3 p.m. here
Yeah.
in like in our time. So you know the 12-hour difference did suck, but when it came to the fight, it didn't affect me that much. It was like your eyes got heavy and everything, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. Actually, Brazil was worse for some reason I just couldn't. It was only an hour difference, and I
Yeah.
couldn't adapt. I don't know why, but yeah, I felt Brazil. I was way more tired. This didn't affect my weight cut or anything. It was just, I don't know. I just try to feel like try to make myself believe that there was no time difference. Like that's what I try to do whenever I go anywhere.
And for sure, it's always tough. I feel like the older I get, the more difficult the time difference is.
Yeah, I think it would have been worse if they would have like made us fight in the morning. So like because they made us fight at night, like a regular time, like a regular fight would be. I think that really like like made us feel like we were still at home rather than like change the time.
And so you did have this fight with Ashley Yoder. You do win the fight. How do you sort of look back at your performance in that fight?
I was really disappointed with the first round, but at the same time, like she's a very good grappler. She's very long. I think that made it difficult too. Like just a different style. Like you can't really predict how someone's gonna be with jujitsu because especially with women, there's girls that are double jointed. There are girls that are like can like dislocate their arm and like put it
Yeah.
back in. Stuff. Girls are very, very like different to judge on the ground. So like when I watched her fights, I was like, oh, she's nothing special on the ground. And then the first round when we went to the ground, she was able to like hold me there, and I was like, like how the heck do I get out of this position? I was just like shocked. And then after that, I was like, all right, just stay off the ground, get her off you, and just keep the fight where you want it. And yeah, so I wasn't like disappointed. I was just like, I guess I was like I wasn't expecting that, and I felt like I don't know. I just wasn't expecting that, and she's definitely a tough girl, definitely a tough opponent. And I'm really glad I got to fight her. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good fight overall.
And so the fight it ends in a split. And what's going through your mind when you're hearing the judges announce the scorecard? Well, they're not announcing it, but you're hearing the judges' scores. I mean, we know they can be a little bit funky sometimes. What's going through your mind when you're hearing the scores?
Well, I was hearing that they were kind of like the judges were off all night with some of the scoring, and so I never whenever it's a decision, I'm never like I'm never confident in the score. I'm just like
Yeah.
hopefully like I feel like I did good, I feel like I did great, but what do they see? You never know what they're looking for.
And the matchmaking in this fight did seem a little bit weird because before you were fighting Claude Gigadelia, who's obviously a former title challenger and everything. Now you're fighting Yoder, who's a little bit more of a prospect. What did you think of the matchmaking in this one? Because it did seem like if you lost this fight, it would have a big consequences for you.
Well, after my last fight, I was really, really disappointed in that fight. And with Claudia, I held back a lot. I just really wanted, right after that fight, I just wanted another fight. I didn't care who it was with. I just kept bugging for a fight, bugging for a fight. And then when Ashley Yoder's opponent backed out, they called me in to replace her, and that's how I got this fight. So it was never like something they match made. You know what I mean? It was something like that, like, hey, we need you to fill in. Do you want to fill in? And because I've been wanting to fight for so long, I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And then I realized it was it was so far away. I didn't really care, but yeah, I just took it because I really wanted to, I don't know, relieve some of that like pressure I've been putting on
Yeah.
myself for my performance in the Claudia fight.
And it seems with you, whenever you fight people, they talk a lot about your record, how you sort of alternate wins and losses. What's kind of going on there? Is that sort of a mental thing? Is that just depending on the opponents? I mean, what's kind of going on there with that?
It's definitely my mental state. Like I'm really working on it. I've got a sports psychologist. We've been really like I've been going to different gyms. I'm just trying to figure out like what it is. I don't know why, but like I know like all the fights I've lost is because of me. Like the Claudia fight, I held back. I held back so much, or I put my opponent on a pedestal. I put so much, like when it's somebody like Claudia, like somebody who's been up there for a long time, that fight definitely I just got in my head and I couldn't let it go, and I just obsessed over it, and I went in there and I didn't perform. Like I held back. I was expecting her to be a certain way, and she didn't do what she usually does. She didn't go for the takedowns like she usually does. She didn't try and, use her jits on me or take me down, keep me there, which is what I was expecting. So I took a lot out of that fight. I took a lot away from that, and I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take for me. It's gonna eventually happen. So when it does, I'm definitely gonna get a chance for that title. I know it. I know it in my heart. So yeah, it's just a battle that I fight with myself all the time.
And how did you feel mentally going into the Ashley Yoder fight? I mean, especially coming off the Claudia fight.
That's the thing. Like whenever I come off of a loss, I have this mentality where I don't give a shit who I'm fighting. Like I don't care. Like I'm going to win. Like doesn't matter who it is, I'm going to win. That's why I always say like after a loss, give me a title shot. I'm gonna win that title. My mental state is different, and like I'm really trying to focus in on the way I am when I'm on a loss, and so I can carry that to my next fight. Like to get like 2 wins in a row. Um, and eventually when I figure it out, I'm gonna be unstoppable.
For sure. And are you still working with a sports psychologist?
Yes, I am. Yeah, it's definitely helped me, and I'm answering a lot of questions that are stuck in my head that I don't know the answers to. So I didn't know the answers to. So it definitely helps a lot.
For sure. And I mean, have you noticed like a big difference mentally even before the fights, or when are you sort of noticing the difference from your work with a sports psychologist?
Well, like, just going into a fight, like I'm usually very down on myself and very like critical of my training and everything. Like oh, that's not good enough. Oh, you only did good because, the other person wasn't pushing. Like, this is what I'm telling myself constantly. And where the sports psychologist is like, like you gotta be humble on the outside and cocky on the inside. Like when you're doing good, give yourself credit for that. And that's one thing that is like has changed me a lot, like mentally and then also like focusing on like right now and not focusing on, oh, I need to win, I need to win. And that's another thing too, like going into the fight thinking, I need to win this, I need to win this, instead of like, I need to win every situation. And by winning every like situation or every exchange, you're going to win the fight, so instead of focusing on the outcome, focus on right now and what you can do and what you can control. And even like just walking out to the fight, focusing on, look at everybody, like look around, look at like your steps that you're taking, like live in the moment and not in the future or in the past. And that's a huge difference for me as well.
And so now coming off this Ashley Yoder fight, what's next for you at this point? Is this about fighting a ranked contender to get you to that next level towards the title? I mean, what's sort of next for you at this point in your career?
For me, honestly, I don't care who they're gonna give me next. I'm more like concerned about, like, not concerned, but like I'm more focused on like being mentally ready and like just enjoying everything, enjoying the opportunity, enjoying the moment, enjoying my training. I'm focused on like just like getting better at the Muay Thai and getting better at my jits, and then when the fight comes, whoever they give me, I'll be ready for it. I'm not really focused on who's next, whether they give me like a top fighter or not. I would like a top fighter. I always like a top fighter, but I'm just more focused on myself.
All right, and I have just one more for you. When do you think we'll see you again in the cage?
Probably after Christmas, but I'm ready whenever. I'm already back at the gym. I've been back at the gym for a couple weeks now, helping out one of my teammates. So, whenever, I'm always ready.
All right, well, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on the victory. It was good to see you go out there and get the win, and we look forward to seeing what's next for you.
All right, thank you so much.